Tear this mother down!
turned into nothing. For men who escape, you're turned into nothing. Yeah! San Francisco! Who wrote this set list? Why are we playing 5 songs straight? What are we thinking here? All right, I've said this before, maybe not exactly to you, but when we got back together in 2012 for another try at this nonsense, yes, you were. And we played a couple warm-up shows. It was quite shaky. We were not really that great. And then we played the first weekend at Coachella, a bit shaky. We were not that great. And then, you know, like Coachella is like 2 weekends, and in between we came to the Warfield, and we played the Warfield with the Hives and the Bronx. And I've got to say, after that show, and I kid you not, after that show, that was when we knew that we could do this. That show, was anyone at that show? 13, oh wow, thank you. That show was one of the most fun shows we ever played, so no pressure at all. But it was, so thank you for having us back for this last go around. It really means a lot. We have nothing but spectacular memories from the Warfield, so I'd say I mean, you know, it's a good feeling going into something, feeling like Yeah, last time we were here, it was pretty fucking epic. Yeah. I'm gonna say though, it is a weird feeling to be like deciding that our band's gonna break up and then we're gonna celebrate that by going on tour. But it's also kind of cool that we get to do this and we get to play these songs one last time for you and celebrate everything that this band is, and it was. And one of the most important aspects of this band that maybe, you know, like if you heard Shape, you're like, oh, they're kind of a bunch of pretentious, like avant-garde wannabes. Yes, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I know what we are, but then you might not be aware of the fact that Umeå hardcore was like a big deal for us. Like when we started, we were wearing like shorts and we wanted to sound like Sick of It All and Gorilla Biscuits. And then one day, I put the big boy pants on, and we became this band. But to be able to celebrate the full fucking capacity of this band, envision me in a way too big inside-out t-shirt, and a pair of baggy pants or shorts, and a pair of sneakers, and we're gonna play you some old songs now. Really old songs.
Just by the wash of blood, now the pain is a walk, now the line.
That was songs not written by a guy in a frilly shirt. I'll tell you that. So how's everybody doing tonight? Yes? Fucking exciting. So I'm gonna touch upon things. You know, if you know about Refused and who we are, you also know that we have some, you would say, in America you would say we're pretty woke. We're a bunch of woke bastards. Since day one, we've been woke. I gotta say though, I want to touch upon one thing that we can think about when we leave here tonight. And one of the concepts of coming to America, because as a European, you've always seen America as this huge fucking entity. And one of the things you love to talk about, it's the word freedom, right? Yeah? And it's something that America in itself, I mean, it is a fucking beautiful thing to say, like freedom, you know, land of the free, all those things. And some exceptions apply. If you criticize, I mean, it is weird to see two people that does not have very thick skin decide what we can talk about. It is pretty fucking wild to see the President of the United States say it's illegal to boycott Tesla. That's a pretty wild thing to hear someone say. You're like, what? How is that illegal? It is pretty wild to see people living in America with green cards and everything being arrested for speaking out against Israel. It's fucking crazy. If the right wants to be champions of free speech, be that. But what I see with everything the right says, the right does, it's this blatant hypocrisy. But whatever we do doesn't apply to the rest of you. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, if law and order doesn't apply to the president, why the fuck should it apply to me? Just a thought. Here's a song about the idea that if we, let's say we are privileged. Let's say we are privileged. The only fucking reason to be privileged is to take care of those less privileged. The only fucking reason to speak out is because others can't. And if you
think, in the fucking culture war that goes on, if you think that trans people are a problem, if you think immigrants are a problem, if you think the LGBTQ community is the problem, then you might be the fucking problem. It's a different type of world when the wolves are at the door. The towers fall down, down, down. No escape. Down, down, down. The wolves are at the door. They must look before the towers fall down, down, down. Brett James Rufinek. Is that someone here? Brett James? You know, is that you? Brett James, take care of that thing. I want to say that it's funny, you know, you're this band and it's quite aggressive, violent music. So it's always a bit of a weird, no, I'm not worried. It's just interesting that I'm like, I'm so happy playing this music. That makes no fucking sense. I remember when we were young, I was so angry. I was so fucking angry. And sometimes David gets upset with me because I'm a happy man nowadays. Like, yeah. Not at obviously, you heard me ranting a couple of minutes ago, so it's obviously all good, but you know the feeling you're playing and you're looking out, you're singing along, you're dancing, and it fills my heart with joy and excitement. And I've been really nervous about this because, I mean, some of you might know, but some of you might not know. Like 9 months ago, I had a massive heart attack. And it was kind of crazy. And then going into this tour, I'm like, holy shit, how is this gonna work out? And it's working out pretty fucking great, to be honest with you. We're gonna, on the morbid side of things, we are gonna play a song on the set. So, wait, no, I have to tell you this story. It's a great story. It's a good story. So, no, wait, no, we just played Rather Be Dead. What are you talking about? Rather Be Alive, okay, I get it. So, I have this story. So, not a year ago, June last year, we decided we're gonna break up the band. We're gonna play this huge festival in Sweden, and then we were gonna do 15 shows and break up. That was it, that was the plan. And we were practicing in David's hometown. We played at a small punk venue, it was all cool. And so on Friday was the big festival. On Thursday, was, you know how bands do, you go this big press release, and the big press release was to say, refuse the fucking dead. The same day, we're gonna release the press release, I have a heart attack. It's a very refused thing to do. So the press release did not get written. It got written way later, and now we're gonna play a song on the morbid topic. Here's a song called Refused Are Fucking Dead. Thank you. San Francisco. So, once again, you stepped up to the plate and you fucking delivered a home run. I know nothing about the sport baseball, but I think those are terms in that sport. I want to say one thing before we hit you with these last couple of songs. The world, I'm not going to say Cincinnati sucks. That's a weird thing to say. I don't know enough about it. I'm going to say though, so we gotta fucking agree on a couple of things, basic things. The world is a bit of a mess right now, right? And especially like, it is a crazy thing to be European and you're like, every fucking day, I have to deal with some nonsense from this country. And you're like, oh, please just don't deal with the nonsense. But I'm gonna say this though, because there is hope. There is hope at the end of this fucking madness, because with this Sweden has no army, we can't invade anyone. Our glory days were like in the 1500s, we owned half of Germany. It's a long time ago. I'm gonna say though, this shitstorm of nonsense, that's like a constant, it's hard to fucking keep up. And it's hard to sort of figure out what makes sense and what's just fucking distraction. To be honest, I think most of it's just fucking sleight of hand, like this, and then like, oh, we're gonna fill our pockets, we're gonna get all richer, and we're concentrating on this nonsense over here. And you have some of the richest people in the world getting way richer because they can. But I was gonna say this. David said class war, and I do agree with this. Yeah, class war. Oh, I think that's the thing though. They want us to be distracted by culture war so we don't fucking do the class war. That's what it is. And to hammer my point home about all of this, you feel quite lone when you fucking take up the Twitter app. You're like, holy shit, people are fucking crazy. Tonight, look around you. We're all fucking here together. Together we're way stronger. If we help each other, it's going to be way better. And I take hope and I take comfort in the fact that you all come down here tonight and you listen to a Swedish man in tight pants talking about the destruction of America, and everybody's kind of just like, yeah, not bad. So please take that with you tonight. You are not alone. We are not alone. We're fucking in this together, and we are way more than they are. Yeah. Here's a couple of finishing tracks. This one's called Dawkins Christ. Yeah.
Thank you. Can't deny you. And I gotta be honest. I think for a band that's about to break up, we sound pretty good. Sound pretty great. I want to thank you once more for coming out and celebrating the demise of our rock music with us. It's a fucking privilege and an honor. And I gotta say, this is between you and me. I'm not gonna tell it to the LA people tomorrow. As I said, I've been super worried about this tour. Tonight, the first show, I feel like, fuck yeah. This is gonna work out. It's gonna work out just fine. Thank you. We'll do 2 more songs for you. Usually, so here's the deal. We haven't really planned encores because it's you know, like the fucking theatrics of rock music. Like you have the set list and then you draw the line and there's one more. We haven't done that at all. I mean, we have the set list, of course, but we come out and we're like, let's see what we can play. I got 2 songs for you that's gonna fucking blow your mind. And wait, before we leave you, how about Slaughterhouse? How about? And before we leave, how about fucking Quicksand? Too good to be true. This one,
Electra.
I love this song. It's called Electra.
Yeah! Yeah! Two more!
I'm gonna give you a bonus song. I have feeling. Here's the song. Here's the song. It's like a bonus. We're giving you a bonus now. This one is about living in a world. Oh wait, what's happening here? Living in a world. Well, I'm giving it to you. Yeah, of course. Living in a world where you see all the shit that goes down, and you're too pacified, and you just turn away. Here's a song called "It's Not Okay to Pretend Everything's Alright." Free Palestine.
Senses, faculties of the skull.
Inside your dead.
See the first part. Yeah, come on.